Good afternoon, everyone. Getting a late start to prospecting today, but we're gonna go on a little bit of an adventure, do a little hike, check out some outcrops, fallen trees from windstorms. Nothing too crazy today, just searching Bedrock, seeing if we can find some new mineral showings on a couple of our claims. So if we find anything, we'll show you guys. Alright, so we have some oxidized outcrop here that's been exposed with the uprooting of these trees. A bit more over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to be taking some trace analysis samples, unless we find anything definite, because that's what prospecting is, sampling, trying to find areas with new mineralization. So when we video, we show you usually the better stuff, but that's about 10% of what we actually do. 90% of prospecting is actually failing before you find anything good. So we're going to show you no matter what we find today, if we find anything good or if we find anything okay or bad. So hope you enjoy. Alright, so this is a good example of what you want to do after a windstorm. You can see the huge roots from the trees. You can see some oxidization on the rock. This was not exposed before. All this right here was on top of here, and now we have a big outcrop exposed. We can see some minor amounts of pyrite mineralization on some of the rocks, so we may or may not take a chip sample from what used to be subcrop. So you can see right here you have a little nodule that's a epidotized nodule. Hammering one of them here, you can see there's a little bit of pyrite on there. Got another uprooted tree here. A few more over there. All right. More outcrop here. Nothing too interesting. So we have a grab sample here that I just broke up. Had heavy oxidization, and you can see there's some pyrite mineralization. So you have some pretty coarse grain pyrite and fine grain pyrite in there. And we're going to take a sample here, and we're going to send this in for ICP testing. Alright, so the other thing we want to do is try and locate a mine in the vicinity area. We've spent several man days trying to locate this, and we haven't ever found it over the course of about the 5-6 years we've had this tenure. So we're going to see if we can find it today. Probably not. It always eludes us, but at least we'll get a few samples on the way. So this will be our first sample here. Okay, so I looked around a little bit for the mine. Again, couldn't find it. Don't know if we ever will, but what we wanted to do is sample this showing here, which we discovered a little while ago, and we never really sent any samples in for analysis. Somewhere along the lines, the sample we did have got lost, so we're back here to Break a little bit of this quartz vein off, see if there's anything decent in it. You can see how big it is. So we're gonna see if there's anything on this. Hammering away at this quartz vein. We exposed another quartz vein down there as well. We'll take a look at that, see if there's anything on that. Here's first few hunks of what we hammered off. And so far it's getting more and more mineralized, more and more malachite azurite staining. And the oxidization is increasing as you go in. So we'll see if we find anything good tonight, any sample worthy pieces. So far this is what we got here. So there is some free gold in here, so we'll probably have a little bit here. But we want to get the best sample before we send it in. So we'll see what we get. If there's any good pieces, we'll show you. So I'll see you then. So we have some samples here that have a bit of free mill gold in them. Can't really see it with the naked eye, maybe a little bit. So my guess is these will be under an ounce per ton. You have some in there, little specks all throughout. So for those of you who don't know, gold is not visible to the naked eye if it's under about 30 grams per ton, or about an ounce. So you always want to bring a jeweler's loupe. There you go, you got some in there. I mean, it's speckled all throughout this, but it's kind of hard to show at night. So we'll take a piece out of one of these samples we have here. We'll send that in for some testing. We'll just do a fire safe for gold, because any other mineral in here is probably very, very small amounts. Doesn't look like your malachite and azurite staining has too much value. Alright, so you can see right along there with the shadow of my hammer's pointing, you have vuggy quartz in a fracture. And then over here, you take a look at that, you have a quartz vein running in a odd fashion up the side of this rock bluff. So there's tons of quartz on this property found filling fractures, but few are mineralized. The one back there is, but most are virtually barren or barren. Alright, so we're gonna head out now. It's dark, so we want to get out of the cold, and it looks like it's starting to snow, but on the way back we're gonna sample small little exposure that we saw and didn't take a sample of. So we'll see you there. Alright, so we're about 1 kilometer away from that last showing, and we're just taking a quick look here at another one. It's on the same property. So this here has sulfide veins You can see your oxide and sulfide staining, and then you have fairly large amounts of pyrite and chalcopyrite disseminated throughout your host rock. And then you have a ton of sulfides all throughout in stringers, as that right there, and then you have quartz veining right here with minor amounts of pyrite. So what we're going to do today, just while we're here, is we're going to pull a quick sample off of your schistose rock, and then we're going to pull a sample off the quartz vein, and we'll send that in for some testing, probably somewhere around here. Maybe we'll take it across the whole outcrop. So we'll show you what we pull off. Alright, so here's a piece of the first sample. You can see pyrite and chalcopyrite disseminated throughout the schists. So you have sulfides all along here. That's basically where we're pulling our sample from across the entire outcrop. Included with that last piece, you can see it just comes off. It's fairly deteriorated, fine-grained pyrite amongst your schists. So that'll be the next sample. Alright, so here's your next piece right here. This will be the third part of that sample. So a lot of this rock here is fairly gossinous amongst your quartz. So a lot of the mineral has precipitated out. You can see there's some in there. Anyway, that's probably good for a sample from here. We got about 4 parts, so we're good.